So playing for me is, the practice is very much about practicing the feeling of the expression of music. It's very much about getting into the experience that I want. So in other words, like there isn't a technical replica of the playing that I later inject feeling into. Like it's one thing. Like so, I practice the feeling of expression. I practice playing with feeling so that I don't learn how to play without feeling. Because I've often said this before: if you practice without feeling, you're learning how to play without feeling. So be careful of it. You know, it's not entirely incidental. Like, and habits build up, and you can find yourself locked outside this very easily. So that's one part of it. The other part is like with any piece of music, I spend time imagining and lulling it over in my mind and kind of singing it to myself and kind of like experiencing it, like, and that's actually in a way where I can actually have a deeper kind of feeling and emotional connection with the piece of music, where I can really imagine it unbounded by the obstacles of my fingers and my hands, you know, and I can really see the potential shape of the piece of music as I would have it. And that, in a sense, like that image of a piece of music created in that way becomes something out front, like that I work towards. Eventually, my playing catches up with it, you know, or gets close to it somehow, you know. And so, like in other words, there now is something to work towards when you're playing. There's something you're moving forward towards, which like makes a big difference, because like indiscriminate practice, you know, like where I'm just going to work on my music, is kind of like, in what way, how, like towards what end, you know. So like because it's very difficult to know what to do then, like when it becomes that kind of, I'm just going to, I've got my hour of practice and I'm just going to practice, you know. So I prefer personally to have some vision for some piece of music that I'm working towards, that like I'm getting kind of like gravitationally pulled towards, you know, because I've created that image in my mind of how I want to hear that piece of music like ultimately expressed, you know.